The shooting happened this afternoon just outside of an apartment complex off Village Lane. The suspect, a 13-year-old who is now in custody. KPRC 2's Devin Clark spoke to the godmother of Anaya.
On March 21, 2025, a devastating incident unfolded in Baytown, Texas, leaving a community in shock and grief. 14-year-old Anaya Zachary lost her life after being fatally shot by a 13-year-old classmate following a dispute. The tragic event, which took place near a playground in an apartment complex, has sparked serious discussions about youth violence, conflict resolution, and firearm accessibility. This video aims to shed light on the events leading up to the shooting, the legal consequences, and the broader societal issues that contribute to such tragedies. By understanding what happened and why, we can work towards solutions that protect young lives, promote conflict resolution, and emphasize responsible gun ownership. Stay with us as we dive deep into this heartbreaking case, examining the circumstances, the aftermath, and what can be done to prevent similar tragedies in the future. Anaya Zachary was a 14-year-old student with a promising future ahead of her. Described by friends and family as kind, intelligent, and full of life, she was a well-liked classmate who had dreams and aspirations like any other teenager. Her sudden and tragic death has left an irreplaceable void in her community, with loved ones mourning the loss of a young girl whose life ended far too soon. Anaya's school and neighborhood have since come together to honor her memory, with tributes pouring in from classmates, teachers, and local leaders. Her tragic passing serves as a painful reminder of the consequences of unchecked violence among youths. The alleged shooter, a 13-year-old classmate, has not been publicly identified due to his age. However, details surrounding the case raise serious concerns about youth violence, access to firearms, and the ability of young individuals to resolve conflicts peacefully. At such a young age, children are expected to be focused on education, friendships, and personal growth, not caught in situations involving deadly violence. The incident brings attention to the challenges in addressing behavioral issues among teenagers, the importance of conflict resolution in schools, and the devastating consequences when disputes escalate beyond control. This case forces us to ask, how do children gain access to firearms? What interventions could have prevented this tragedy? How can communities and schools work together to ensure young people have peaceful ways to resolve conflicts? As we continue, we will explore what led to this tragic moment, the events of that fateful day, and the impact it has had on Anaya's family and the Baytown community. On the morning of March 21, 2025, what began as a seemingly typical school day for 14-year-old Anaya Zachary quickly turned into a tragedy that would shake the Baytown, Texas community. The chain of events leading to Anaya's death reportedly started on the school bus earlier that day. Anaya and a 13-year-old male classmate got into a verbal altercation. What may have initially been a heated exchange of words quickly escalated into something far more dangerous. The details of their argument remain unclear, but for one reason or another, the dispute did not end when they stepped off the bus. While many school-related disagreements fade away with time, this one took a dark turn. Instead of letting the issue go, the boy allegedly made a deadly decision. After arriving home from school, the 13-year-old suspect reportedly retrieved a firearm, an action that raises critical concerns about how easily minors can access guns. But this was not a spontaneous act of anger. His actions showed clear intent. Reports indicate that the boy put on a black mask before setting out to confront Anaya, signaling that he had planned for a violent encounter. His destination? A playground near Anaya's apartment complex, where children typically gather to play and socialize, a place meant to be safe. At approximately 7:30 p.m., the suspect allegedly found Anaya at the playground. In a moment that horrified witnesses and left an entire community reeling, he pulled out the gun and fired 4 times at her. Each shot shattered any possibility of resolving their dispute peacefully. Anaya was rushed to the hospital, but despite the efforts of medical professionals, she succumbed to her injuries. Her tragic death left friends, family, and the entire Baytown community in shock, struggling to understand how a disagreement between 2 young students could end in such senseless violence. This horrific incident forces us to confront pressing issues. Why did a 13-year-old have access to a gun? What led to such an extreme reaction over a school bus argument? Could intervention from adults, the school, or peers have prevented this tragedy? As we move forward, we will explore the aftermath of Anaya's death, the legal consequences for the suspect, and the broader impact of youth violence in our society. The tragic loss of 14-year-old Anaya Zachary has left an unbearable void in the lives of her family and sent shockwaves throughout the Baytown, Texas community. What should have been just another school day turned into a heartbreaking nightmare, and the aftermath has been filled with grief, anger, and a desperate search for justice. For Anaya's family, the pain is immeasurable. Her mother, father, and loved ones are now faced with the devastating reality that she will never walk through the door again, never laugh, and never grow into the promising future she had ahead of her. In public statements, Anaya's family expressed their heartbreak, struggling to comprehend how a disagreement on a school bus could escalate to such an irreversible act of violence. They have called for justice, demanding that those responsible, both the shooter and anyone who may have enabled his access to a firearm, be held accountable. Beyond the pursuit of justice, Anaya's family has also made an emotional plea for better protections for children, urging parents, schools, and authorities to intervene before conflicts spiral into violence. They have stressed the importance of ensuring that no other family endures the same unimaginable loss. Anaya's death has deeply impacted the Baytown community, leaving many residents heartbroken and questioning how such a tragedy could have happened. In the days following her passing, vigils were held in her honor, with friends, classmates, and neighbors gathering to mourn her loss, share memories, and stand in solidarity with her grieving family.
We are hearing from the family of a girl shot and killed in Baytown. The victim is 14-year-old Anaya Zachary. The shooting happened this afternoon just outside of an apartment complex off Village Lane. The suspect, a 13-year-old who is now in custody. KPRC 2's Devin Clark spoke to the godmother of Anaya.
This is the playground where that little girl was playing when she was fatally shot. Tonight, you can see a growing memorial here in her honor. Family members telling me that her loss is unthinkable.
To the little boy that did this to Anaya, I'm not angry with you. I'm not upset with you, but I want you to know that I forgive you as of tonight, and I put you into the hands of the Lord.
Powerful words coming from Sonia Stanford. She says she's the godmother of 14-year-old Anaya Zachary.
She was a sweet kid. She was an A honor roll student, never had no problems. Yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, thank you, no, thank you. This was a sweet baby.
Stanford says Anaya had been living with her for about a year. That is until today, when Baytown police say she was gunned down at this playground in their apartment complex on Village Lane.
It's very difficult. When I say difficult, it is very hard. It's like I'm still in a state of shock, but because I trust God and I know who God is, I'm kind of dealing with this.
The suspected shooter, a 13-year-old boy and fellow schoolmate at Baytown Junior Middle School.
I asked Perez, did Naya bully the little boy on the bus? And she said, no, Mom, but they never did get along.
Today, it seems the discord took a turn for the worse.
Her and the little boy got into it on the bus, and he got off the bus, he went home. He came back, he went home again. Anaya came in and asked me, Tia, can I go outside?
Then Stanford says the boy came back with a vengeance.
And he went home and put on all black, put on a black mask, and came back and called my baby's name, and he shot my baby 4 times.
Anaya was rushed to the hospital where she died.
If I knew that it was an altercation, me being who I am, again, being a mother, I would have went to the little boy's parents with Anaya to see if we can get this resolved. Because stuff like this occur all the time, but this really does not make any kind of sense at all.
Now, Stanford has a message for the boy's parents.
You should have put your weapon up so your 13-year-old son wouldn't have gotten this gun and shot my child. I am very hurt. I am very disappointed.
The teenage boy accused of shooting and killing Anaya has been taken into custody. Tonight, the investigation continues, and as soon as we have more information, we'll bring that to you. For now, reporting in Baytown, Devin Clark, KPRC 2 News.
The sight of candles flickering in the night, photos of Anaya surrounded by flowers, and people embracing one another in sorrow painted a somber picture of a community united in grief. Many in attendance voiced their concerns about youth violence, the role of parents in monitoring their children's behavior, and the urgent need for gun safety measures. Beyond the vigils, fundraising efforts were launched to assist Anaya's family with funeral costs, demonstrating the community's unwavering support. Messages of condolences flooded social media, with friends and even strangers expressing their sorrow and demanding changes to prevent another tragedy like this. Beyond the pursuit of justice, Anaya's family has also made an emotional plea for better protections for children, urging parents, schools, and authorities to intervene before conflicts spiral into violence. They have stressed the importance of ensuring that no other family endures the same unimaginable loss. Anaya's death has deeply impacted the Baytown community, leaving many residents heartbroken and questioning how such a tragedy could have happened. In the days following her passing, vigils were held in her honor, with friends, classmates, and neighbors gathering to mourn her loss, share memories, and stand in solidarity with her grieving family. The sight of candles flickering in the night, photos of Anaya surrounded by flowers, and people embracing one another in sorrow painted a somber picture of a community united in grief. Many in attendance voiced their concerns about youth violence, the role of parents in monitoring their children's behavior, and the urgent need for gun safety measures. Beyond the vigils, fundraising efforts were launched to assist Anaya's family with funeral costs, demonstrating the community's unwavering support. Messages of condolences flooded social media, with friends and even strangers expressing their sorrow and demanding changes to prevent another tragedy like this. Anaya's death has sparked discussions about preventing similar tragedies in the future. Community leaders, school officials, and local advocates have emphasized the need for conflict resolution programs in schools to help young students navigate disputes peacefully, stricter gun safety laws to prevent minors from accessing firearms, greater parental supervision to recognize and intervene when children exhibit warning signs of violent behavior. Many believe that this tragedy could have been avoided if the conflict had been addressed earlier, if the gun had been secured, or if an adult had stepped in to de-escalate the situation. As Anaya's family and the Baytown community continue to grieve, one message remains clear: something must change to ensure that no other child loses their life to senseless violence. The 13-year-old suspect, now at the center of this heartbreaking case, is facing serious legal consequences for his alleged actions. What began as a school bus dispute escalated into a violent confrontation, leaving 14-year-old Anaya Zachary dead and an entire community in mourning. Law enforcement acted swiftly following the tragic shooting, arresting the 13-year-old boy and charging him with murder. Given his young age, he is currently being held at the Harris County Juvenile Detention Center while legal proceedings unfold. Prosecutors have emphasized the severity of the crime, noting that the deliberate nature of the attack, retrieving a firearm, wearing a mask, and carrying out the shooting, suggests premeditation. While the suspect's name has not been released due to his minor status, the case has already ignited a national conversation about youth violence and the criminal justice system's handling of juvenile offenders in severe cases like this. Because the suspect is only 13 years old, the legal process surrounding his case differs from that of an adult offender. However, given the severity of the crime, prosecutors could pursue several legal paths. Tried as a juvenile. If the suspect is tried in juvenile court, he could face detention in a juvenile facility until he reaches 21 years old, depending on the ruling. Juvenile sentencing often focuses on rehabilitation rather than strict punishment, which may be a factor in the final verdict. Tried as an adult. In extreme cases, juveniles can be transferred to adult court, where they would face harsher penalties. Given the premeditated nature of the crime, prosecutors may argue that the suspect should be tried as an adult, potentially leading to a lengthy prison sentence. Legal defense considerations. The defense team may argue that the suspect's age, mental state, or external influences should be taken into account. They might also claim that the boy lacked the full cognitive ability to understand the permanent consequences of his actions. Accountability beyond the shooter. Gun access is another major factor in this case. Authorities may investigate who owned the firearm, how the suspect obtained it, and whether an adult could face legal repercussions for improperly storing the weapon. Texas law does impose penalties on gun owners if a minor gains access to a firearm due to negligence. As the case moves forward, legal experts, prosecutors, and the court system will determine the appropriate course of justice for a suspect this young. While some believe rehabilitation should be the focus, others argue that the crime was too severe for a lighter juvenile sentence. Regardless of the legal outcome, this case serves as a harsh reminder of the consequences of youth violence, access to firearms, and the failure to resolve conflicts before they turn deadly. The court's decision will not only determine the suspect's fate but could also influence future discussions on how to handle violent crimes committed by juveniles. The tragic killing of Anaya Zachary by her 13-year-old classmate is more than just an isolated incident. It is a stark reminder of deeper societal issues that must be addressed. This case highlights youth violence, the lack of conflict resolution skills among adolescents, and the alarming accessibility of firearms to minors. Understanding these factors is essential in preventing similar tragedies in the future. Adolescent violence is a growing concern, and this case raises important questions about why young people resort to deadly force in conflicts. Several factors contribute to this disturbing trend, including exposure to violence. Many young individuals are exposed to violence at home, in their communities, or through social media and entertainment. When violence is normalized, it becomes an acceptable response to disputes. Lack of emotional regulation. Teenagers, especially those without proper guidance, often struggle to manage anger and frustration. Without healthy coping mechanisms, disagreements can quickly escalate. Peer pressure and social status. In some cases, adolescents feel pressured to prove themselves or maintain a certain reputation among peers, leading to reckless and dangerous decisions. Mental health challenges. Undiagnosed or untreated mental health conditions can contribute to impulsive or violent behavior, making it crucial to provide adequate mental health support in schools and communities. Without early intervention and support, some teenagers may resort to extreme measures, as tragically seen in this case. One of the key takeaways from this case is the urgent need to teach healthy conflict resolution skills in schools. Many young people lack the tools to manage disagreements without resorting to violence. Schools, families, and communities must work together to promote effective communication skills. Teaching students to express their frustrations without aggression can prevent conflicts from spiraling out of control. Emotional intelligence training. Helping children understand and control their emotions can significantly reduce impulsive reactions. Peer mediation programs. Schools should implement peer conflict resolution programs where trained students help mediate disputes in a constructive manner. Anti-bullying and violence prevention campaigns. Raising awareness about the consequences of violence can help deter students from engaging in harmful behaviors. Had Anaya's dispute with her classmate been handled in a more structured and peaceful way, this devastating tragedy might have been avoided. Perhaps the most pressing concern in this case is how a 13-year-old boy was able to access a firearm so easily. Gun violence among minors is a growing crisis, and it raises serious questions about gun ownership responsibility and firearm safety measures. Parental accountability. In many cases, parents or guardians fail to properly secure their firearms, allowing minors to access them. Gun owners must ensure that weapons are stored securely, ideally in a locked safe with ammunition stored separately. Laws on firearm storage. Some states have strict laws regarding gun storage, making it illegal for minors to access firearms in a household. However, enforcement and awareness of these laws remain inconsistent. Community education on gun safety. Schools and local organizations should educate families about responsible gun ownership and the dangers of easy access to firearms. The fact that the 13-year-old suspect was able to retrieve a gun, put on a mask, and commit such a violent act underscores the urgent need for stronger gun safety measures and parental responsibility. The senseless killing of Anaya Zachary is a painful reminder of the urgent need to address youth violence, promote conflict resolution education, and prevent minors from accessing firearms. If parents, educators, and policymakers take meaningful action, tragedies like this can be prevented in the future. This case should serve as a wake-up call for society to prioritize the safety, education, and emotional well-being of young people before another preventable tragedy occurs. The tragic death of Anaya Zachary serves as a heartbreaking reminder of the urgent issues surrounding youth violence, conflict resolution, and firearm accessibility. A simple school bus dispute escalated into a senseless act of violence, forever changing the lives of those involved. Anaya's family, friends, and community are left mourning a young life lost too soon, while a 13-year-old boy now faces severe legal consequences for a decision that could have been prevented. Throughout this discussion, we've explored the circumstances leading up to the incident, the emotional aftermath, and the broader implications that demand society's attention. From the importance of conflict resolution education in schools to the critical need for responsible firearm storage, this case highlights gaps in our systems that need to be addressed before another tragedy occurs. We cannot change what happened to Anaya Zachary, but we can learn from this devastating event and work toward a future where youth violence is prevented, conflict is resolved peacefully, and firearms are kept out of the wrong hands. Have conversations with young people about handling disagreements constructively. Support local initiatives that provide youth with mentorship, conflict resolution training, and emotional support. Advocate for responsible firearm ownership, ensuring that guns are securely stored and inaccessible to minors. It's time to act as a society, because no child should lose their life over an argument, and no family should have to endure such unimaginable grief. Speech Balloon, what are your thoughts on this case? Share your perspectives in the comments below. Loudspeaker, before you continue watching, take a moment to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone you love. Bell, turn on notifications so you never miss an important discussion about real-life issues that affect us all.